road again, this time to Southern California to visit Jose 66 Beach Cruiser. The plan is to go to the Nats with the 66 Beach Cruiser, and he's got a little bit of a fuel issue in that he's got the original first gen tank in there, which is about 15 gallons. Last time we went, we didn't have a good idea of the accuracy of the fuel gauge, so we wanted to be sure that we didn't run out of fuel, and we didn't have any good fuel economy numbers on that V8, so we ended up stopping sometimes as much as every 100 miles. Well, if we're headed back to Massachusetts, then we're going to have to hopefully have a little bit more range than 100-mile stops. So the plan is to drop that 15-gallon tank, move that cross member that's directly in front of it, and relocate it so it can accommodate that 25-gallon tank. These 25-gallon tanks are available through Vans Auto. That's the only place I know that they are available. Many thanks to Smiley for pursuing that back in the day. That made a major difference for us trying to locate gas tanks, because before that we just had to scavenge other second-gen tanks and try to have them repaired. Regardless, we've got the tank in the back along with new straps, new sending unit, pretty much the whole deal. So I think it's about $450 altogether, including the shipping on that. So anyway, that is pretty much it. We are off, and let's see what time we got going, about 5:30 on the road. So we're hoping to hit the LA traffic no later than 3 o'clock. If it gets to be 4 o'clock, then we're going to be stuck in traffic, and even at the 3 o'clock goal, there's no guarantee that we're going to miss it all. All it takes is one hiccup, one driver sneezing, and then it just creates a chain reaction, and traffic's backed up for a long time. Anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed and listen to the sound of Willie Nelson's On the Road Again. Thanks for coming along. This is Friday morning. It's basically first full day that I've been here, and we're going to try to get started on this van. We do have some running around to do a little bit later. We asked for some of those parts. Even though we have that part, I don't want to back off on my commitment to go ahead and pick up those parts. These local parts shops, if they're going to work to bring some parts in, the least I can do is go and pick them up. Otherwise, next time they might not take my request so seriously. So anyway, we'll get this thing set up and prepped. Yesterday, Jose and I crawled underneath the van and saw where we're going to have to probably take that part of that exhaust system off, where the it kind of goes over the rear axle. It's going to be in the way of the larger tank, and also in the way when we try to get those spot welds off of that one cross member. So anyway, let's get started, right? Okay, this is the new larger 25-gallon tank from Vans, and I just opened the box, and we put this fitting on. There was a little bit of drama around that. Anyway, this came over the top as a little protector, and they had that taped on there, which is fine. But unfortunately for me, the box did not contain any straps. The receipt had a line item charging me $40 for the straps, but they were not in the box, so that's a problem. We may be able to get some from Vanity, but that's going to take a day or so, and we're certainly not going to be ready for straps in a day. But there was another thing, and that was this little bit of drama about this fitting. I thought it was going to be included, but apparently it's not. And then I called around to ask for this Dorman fitting. You can see that 785-404D, and the places say no, we don't have it, you know, and they had all different sizes. They said no, it's 5/16, no, it's 3/8. Anyway, bottom line is I went down to the auto parts store and looked, and they had it, and the same place that said no, we don't have it. So this is still available. I went ahead and got 3 of them. It's only a few bucks, $5, something like that. And you probably don't need this tape, but it's a little extra insurance. Made sure that it wasn't on that flare. So the other thing is that these studs are a little bit different size. The original one from the stock tank has a little fitting that goes right over the top of it, like a round fitting, and then it's covered with a plastic insulator. So this one is going to fit fine, so we'll have to cut that off and splice that in. And that is happened to be in this kit, which Jose had. Thanks, Jose. Let's see if here. And so let me get a good look at this. All right, so it's a ring terminal, 8 to 10 stud size, and 12 to 10 on the wire size. That actually is a little bit too big, but we might just take that and double it over, or make sure that it fits nice and tight. These are waterproof, so we'll hit them with the heat and make sure that that's all good. This also is a little bit large. That's not going to work on the same type of hole that the same type of ground stud, ground screw that they have, so we'll have to change that. Anyway, I didn't want to start cutting and splicing until Jose got here. Just wanted to prep this up and make sure that I had as many things as possible so that we can be ready to go. So a few hiccups, but we should have everything we need by the time we're ready for it. So keep our fingers crossed. Okay, it's about 12:30. It took us about 2.5 hours to get that tank out of there. There's, unfortunately for me, it's full of fuel, so that made it a little bit more difficult. But I'm going to turn the camera around and show you some of the things that I ran into that I'd like to share. Hopefully it'll save you some trouble if you're doing the same type of repair, dropping the tank. Okay, some of this stuff doesn't directly apply to gas tanks, but certainly it's something you're going to run into working with older pieces. This had the original clamps on it, on the filler and the overflow, and that leads me to believe that this tank has been in there for that whole time. I don't know if it's ever been dropped, but anyway, these hoses, they get really stiff, so trying to remove this, especially when it's got that bulge on the end, makes it real difficult. So what I had to do is I had to cut that and then peel it back in order to get that off. Another thing is that on this sending unit here, or the terminal for the sending unit, that is impossible to get to while the tank is in place. So you have to partially lower the tank and then pull that off. And then this is the ground wire that gets just, you know, it kind of hides some time under all that dirt and grime. That's over there on the passenger side on the frame rail. The one thing that can hang you up, get over here, is the hoses that are attached here, especially this big one. This one is not something that you're going to find at most auto parts stores, so you can't just cut that and peel it back, which it would be a lot easier to do. What I did was I took the clamp, pushed it all the way up to the hose on both of these, and then twisted it, made sure that you could get some movement, and then also on the other end, higher up, where the other end of the hose was attached with the same type of clamps, I disconnected those, made sure that they were all the way off, ran them down the hose, and then twisted that hose onto to break that seal. Now this one, you're likely to be able to push it back far enough. There's going to be enough flexibility so you can push that hose back and get that off, but not so much with this larger one. What I found is that you have to lower the tank slightly, and then it will come off. Now with this relatively full tank, it's kind of a balancing act, especially when you're just on a floor jack that's only got like a 2x4 holding it up. So if that fuel starts to slosh back and forth, then it's gonna be a problem. Now I didn't have any aluminum foil to cover this up, but that would have been helpful to have it on there to prevent the fuel from coming out when it's sloshing. So all in all, this tank is pretty good shape, except for the bottom. It got hit a few times. I'm surprised it didn't leak. But so now the next thing is to go ahead and clean up the underside and start to uncover some of those spot welds. And that's going to be a little bit dirty, but I don't know. That's what you signed up for, right? Thanks for coming along.